Yo, what's up, ICANN fam? I got a question for you guys. What's your worst run? I'm talking maybe the smallest, maybe you expected more, maybe it just didn't taste good. Was it an auto, was it a photo? Just let me know, because a lot of people have bad runs. And for me, my own was an auto, man. So today I'm going to get in all to it, because I want to show you guys how not to run an auto. Yo, what up, ICANN fam? Welcome back to another ICANN fam show where we all get blazed together and share the best stories. Whether it's good ones, bad ones, we just get blazed together, man. But today's story is going to be a cracking one because, man, honestly, I've had some bad grows in the past, and probably my worst of them all, was an autoflower grow. And that's not to knock the autos. Last week we tried to do this episode, and a lot of people thought I was knocking the autos, and they were like, that's why you don't knock the autos, extreme can't start. But no, man, I'm not knocking the autos, I'm just being straight up, because a lot of people say, start off with the autos, that's good for beginners, man. But for me, in my experience, when I started off, an auto was not good for beginners, man. So we're going to dig into why, man. But before I actually do, I want to shout out to all the ICANN VIP Club members, man. All the VIP Bean Club members, you guys rock. And all the All Access patrons, man, you are the real ICANN fam. I see you guys. Now, if you want to join up with the link, hit the link in the description below and join up. Today's special ICANN fam Good Vibes Stoner shout out actually goes to the ICANN VIP homies. And we got Mike cranking. So shout out to Mike. Mike's always showing love. I know he got his gold box and he's super stoked. Don't worry, man. You'll be getting more packages sent out your way as long as you're a VIP Bean Club member. So guys, hit that link down below. We also got Earth, Air, on Fire. Shout out to Earth, Air, on Fire, man. We're sending some of that ICANN good vibes your way. A lot of that good vibes going your way. And last but not least, definitely not least, Kathleen B, man. Shout out to Kathleen. Kathleen's always showing love, always watching all the Talkin podcast episodes and showing love, and actually hooked me up with some OG Kush, man. So I'm looking forward to running some of that OG Kush. Shout out to Kathleen. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Now, guys, if you want to support and get some fire perks in return, I'm talking some exclusive genetics, all hand selected. I'm talking all sorts of stuff that you can use in your garden. Shout out to Paul. I know you got some great stuff as well. I hooked you up with some of those grow bags and stuff, my man. But if you want to, definitely join up, man. The VIPs get the best perks, all access patrons, and real ICANN fam, all you guys get all access and get all access to everything, man. So hit that link. I've been putting out some fire stuff for you guys. And if you guys want to cop some of that Diesel Dog hoodies, Diesel Dog clothing, I got some fire Diesel Dog designs that I'm working on. I'm putting out on the website for you guys. So definitely hit the link in the description. Check out the Diesel Dog clothing website and cop some of that fire 420 gear, man. But without further ado, let's get into the show, man. Because today's show is all about the worst autoflower grows, right? And the worst autoflower grow for me may not be the worst for you. A lot of people have different types of grows and different reasons why the grows are good, why the grows are bad. But for me, I have a lot of reasons why the grows are bad, man. So I just wanted to show you guys. And there are a lot of mistakes that actually can go into causing a bad grow. So what is a bad grow? What's some of the worst mistakes? Like, what are we talking about, Matt? Well, there are a lot of different things that go into it, guys, especially when it comes to the autos, man. Those ruderalis and stuff like that, yes, they're super hardy strains, but they don't like to be treated too badly. They don't like a lot of stress. They don't like being messed up and stuff like that. So there are a lot of mistakes that you can make when it comes into it, and that's what we're going to get into, man. So for the first things off, man, when I got this auto, I was super stoked about it. I was like, heck yeah, I got an autoflower. Autoflowers are awesome. Let's get into it. That's fucking dope. Perfect. I just really wanted to run the autos. But when I got it, I was like, yeah, that's going to flower automatically. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to worry about anything changing anything or doing anything. I'm good. I'm just gonna let it run, man. And autos is like a one and done. I just plan it. I can not worry about light schedules, light leaks, none of that stuff, and I could get a nice fat harvest. But that didn't turn out that way. Little did Matt know, autos are a little bit more tricky than they seem to be. So that's what no one told me, man. I don't know, just do people just not tell you these things? Do they just yeah, you can run an autoflower, but there are things you should know. So no one told me that. Anyway, so I got the autos, man, and I was not 100% sure of the genes or where it came from and stuff like that. I just knew that it was a Gorilla Glue autoflower, and I got a Tangy autoflower. I got a couple of them. I got two each, and I got them from a homie. This is when I was still living out in the Caribbean, man. And I got both of them, and I popped both of them. They both came in like red solo cups, like literally I got them. So that's like the first bad thing, man, because like came straight off in solo cups, right? So you're having some serious, high expectations for these plants, man. But you get these autos and you get them in solo cups. It's like these people are setting you up to fail, man. You're destined to fail. I'm like, bro, why'd you give me these autos in fucking solo cups, man? Well, I guess because like they just were giving me the autos and they're already seedlings, man. So you can imagine my frustration when I was just like, damn, well, I'm a little under the weather because after reading about the autos, I'm not supposed to transplant them, but I guess I got no choice but to transplant them. So I guess I got to risk the shock of stunning them through the transplant. But I guess that happens sometimes, man. You just can't get away from it. So that was the first mistake for me, man, getting those autos from an unreliable source. So again, get the autos from a good source. There are a lot of great companies out here doing some great stuff with the autos. Check those out, see which ones tickle your fancy. Some of them may turn out smaller than others, some may turn out bigger than others. It's all about how you run the autos and how the autos actually are in terms of the genetic structure and the genetic makeup. Because autos are naturally not going to be overly massive plants because a lot of them don't veg for a long period of time. And again, that's just how they run, right? So you just have to get used to it, and you just have to really treat them nicely, man. And that leads us nicely into our next point. When you treat them nicely, you got to give them the right pot, man. You got to give them the right pot, let them have the right nutrients, the right soil, all that stuff. You got to make sure everything is the appropriate size for it, man. And for me, I had one of these massive pots, guys. So you guys can see this pot up on screen right now. The biggest one is the one that I went with. I literally went with the biggest friggin' pot. Like, why? I don't know, but I thought it was cool, so I went with the big one. I was like, yeah, I want a big plant. I need a big pot. So we got a big pot. And I put all that soil in the pot, filled it up, transplanted the auto into the pot, tried to be like super careful with the transplant because you're not supposed to transplant. They say don't transplant and all that stuff. But I got a big ass pot. So I got that big pot and I was like, yeah, this is going to work perfect. Everything's going to work fine. And I'm just looking forward to it, man. So I transplanted into this massive pot and I had it outdoors. So again, that leads you to the second or maybe third mistake that I made. I don't even know where we're at this point. I just know I made tons of mistakes. Like, did anyone tell me about this? Clearly not, man. But at the end of the day, you learn from your mistakes, right? So here we are. I'm learning from my mistakes. So I literally had all those autos and I transplanted them into the massive pots, and I popped them outside because I did not have like an indoor space set up. I did not have grow lights. I did not have any of that stuff, man. Like it just turned like decriminalized. I was just able to like grow my own at home. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna grow at home. You mean I can grow at home now? I'm gonna grow at home. Say no more, fam. We outside. Perfect. So I took the chance to grow at home, but little did I know that, you would need the setup and all that stuff. And living out in the Caribbean, you actually have to order that shit and send it in, man. So like you can order lights online here. If you got a grow shop or something, you can go and get it at the grow shop and you can get it that same day. But whereas in the Caribbean, if you go to a grow shop, a lot of the times the selection was not that vast because we just decriminalized. A lot of people didn't have grow lights and stuff like that. And if they did, it was blur pools and they were charging a lot of money for it. Like I'm talking a lot of money. Maybe like quick maths, about $600 US for some cheap ass blur pillars, just cause they had to bring it down, import it, ship it, all that stuff. Anyway, so I ended up eventually getting some lights. I copped some online. I got some blur pillars. I thought the blur pillars were the shit. I thought it was the way to go, but learning afterwards, you realize, okay, full spectrum is probably better than the blur pillars. But at the end of the day, I started these autos off outdoors. So they were in these massive pots, these big ass terracotta looking friggin' plastic pots, and they were just outside, taking in the sun. And in the nighttime, I would have like a CFL bulb, not even directly over it, but just in the porch area. And I would just have it in the porch area, just sitting down there. So it would not be in like complete darkness pretty much. But either way, like it was not getting enough light, because I don't know about you guys, but out in the Caribbean where I was living, I did not get a lot of sunlight during the day, so you would usually get less than 12 hours of light a day. Sometimes 6 to 6 maybe, and sometimes it may get dark a little bit earlier or may get bright a little bit earlier in the morning time. The sun may rise a little bit earlier and stuff like that. So either way, I was not getting the plant to its fullest potential. And that big pot led me into so many issues, guys. Like, a lot of people think the bigger the roots, the bigger the fruits. Hell yeah, that's so true, especially if you're growing photoperids, man. And every time you transplant up with the photos, your root ball increases, especially when you use Dino-Myco and stuff like that. But if you don't, then you're in a situation where you got a big ass pot, you got an autoflower in it that you're not transplanting. The auto is going from veg to flower on a set time scale, and you're out here putting it in this big ass pot that it's not going to fill. So that's what I did. It did not fill that pot. That pot was a massive pot. It had no chance of filling that pot, especially with the amount of light it was getting, right? So that pot did not only like mess me up in that way, but also because it was a massive pot, I ran into so many issues and troubles with like overwatering and overfeeding, right? So overwatering and overfeeding, those are two real issues as well, man. And like going from the solo cup straight into one of those cups, like it's obviously a whole different thing, man. And I don't know about you guys, but I did not know about the meaning of some of these lines on the solo cups. Like, these are what people say, like some of them is a serving of beer or a serving of wine, serving of cereal, chocolate syrup needed to make chocolate milk, or a portion of mouthwash, like a shot of liquor. Sounds pretty crazy to me. But back to what I was using, man. In terms of my mediums, I was literally using Lambert potting mix. Potting mix works great, and I was just easily able to get that at my garden shop, man. It cost me like $80 or something like that for a big bag of it. So I copped a big bag and I used that, and I filled the whole pot up with that bag, right? So that big pot, that big bag, right? Like, massive pot, massive bag for this small autoflower. So you can actually check out the video of this that I'm talking about on the Uncensored channel, guys. So check out the Uncensored channel. We post all the old stuff on there, and you guys can see it. We got a lot of the new stuff and new grow updates on there as well. Just finished setting up the 2x4 tent. We're going to post some updates on that. Just finished doing some germination of some new strains as well. We're going to show you guys all that on the Uncensored channel, so check those out. But man, the Lambert potting mix is just like any other potting mix. It's got like, a little bit of peat moss, perlite, it's an all-around potting mix, so it worked great. But a lot of people think that growing outdoors in the Caribbean is all nice, sea, sun, beautiful sun, so you can grow some fire flower. But sometimes you're like in an apartment, or sometimes you're somewhere where you get a lot of shade, you don't get the full sun, stuff like that. So it was not as glamorous as it really sounded, guys. Like, it may be a great thing, but it was not actually as good as it could have been, simply because of that, right? And I had some homies as well who were like telling me what to do, and they were like, yo, you need to feed your plants. And I'm like, what do I feed them, man? What do I feed them? He's like, you got to get that Miracle Grow, man. Miracle Grow, go by your garden shop, man, and get some of that Miracle Grow, and you can use that. You just mix it in with your water and you feed it to your plants. So I was like, okay, man, say no more, bro. We got that Miracle Grow. That shit, I'm in a gear now. I'm like, that shit gonna work, man. That shit perfect, right? Little did I know, flush that Miracle Grow shit straight down the toilet, bro. Because that ain't the answer, Sway. That ain't the answer, Sway, at all. But like, again, I did not know. So I went in hard with the Miracle Grow. I mixed up a bunch of that Miracle Grow, and it went in super hard. But the plants don't need all that, especially autoflowers, guys. Autos are not going to be around for that long. They don't need that much nutrients. They don't need that much fertilizer. They don't need all of that. And all you're going to end up doing is burning your plants, find yourself in situations that you don't want to be in, and situations that I was in where I was feeding my plant this Miracle Grow all-purpose fertilizer, which was super strong, super heavy, and it was just too much for the plants, man. And then eventually I was like, okay, Miracle Grow is probably not the best thing. I did a little bit of research, and I saw people are using like other stuff like Fox Farm and advanced nutrients and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab some of the Fox Farm. I think I seen that in my local garden store. Let's cop some of that Fox Farm with the advanced nutrients. So I went with the Fox Farm. I did not go with the advanced nutrients, but I tried the Fox Farm. So let's switch the game up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna add some of the Fox Farm now. We got the Tiger Bloom, Big Bloom, the Grow Big. We're gonna mix all that in. I use the Grow Big for veg, and the worm casting is guano mixed. I use some of that as well, and just mixed everything. And then when it went into flower, I used the Big Buds and the Big Blooms, the Tiger Bloom. And again, we just got into too many issues, right? So I was just mixing nutrients, man, and that's something you don't want to do. You don't want to mix nutrients, and I'm mixing it all in this massive pot of soil, right? So this massive pot of soil is where I'm mixing my nutrients, and I'm mixing my nutrients and pouring it into this massive pot of soil. And the soil and the roots in that soil are not getting enough, anything really just to like use up that nutrients. They're not getting enough light. They're not getting enough photosynthesis going on, not enough energy being produced. Nothing is really going on in there, but it's a lot of nutrients getting saturated and bogged down in that soil, all different types of nutrients, and that just caused some burn, man. So things weren't looking good, man. And I actually started to look into some more things, and how do I bounce back from this now? How do I bounce back from this? Like, what do I do? So, looking online and trying to figure stuff out. Obviously, you see like different people who do different things, and I see like the homie Mr. Canucks Grow. Shout out to Matt, my homie Mr. Canucks Grow, man. Oh man, he's got the same name. It's like that Spider-Man meme. You. But either way, guys, like I mixed it all up, and the same homie that was like, get some of that Miracle Grow. He came over by me one day, and he was like, there are a lot of different things you could do. And I was like, yeah, I was actually looking at Mr. Canucks Grow and stuff. And he was like, I don't actually know who that is, but I was explaining to him that I see Mr. Canucks Grow making a compost tea. So I was like, I want to get a compost tea. His plants are looking really bad. He makes this compost tea, right? And this compost tea, he was able to like have his plants bounce back. He gave him like an organic boost, and everything was great. So I was like, okay, I want to mix a compost tea, and I showed him the video where Mr. Canucks Grow is doing it and everything, and he's like, well, why don't you do that? And I was like, well, I can't, because I don't have like some of the organic inputs and stuff like what he got. He got worm castings and all that stuff, and put it into like a fucking pantyhose, right, like a cheesecloth, and put it into that, and he brewed it for like 24 hours, 36 hours or something like that. And I showed him what I got. I opened my nutrient cupboard and showed him. So I got like Tiger Bloom, I got Fox Farm, I got some of those other stuff and stuff like that. And he was like, well, why don't you just make your own compost tea, dude? And I was like, make my own compost tea? That sounds pretty great. Like, I'm gonna make my own compost tea. So I grabbed the Fox Farm, I grabbed the Tiger Bloom, I grabbed all that stuff. I even threw in some of the all-purpose plant food, and I had some molasses chilling around, so I threw that in as well. And I made my own compost tea brew out of like a bunch of synthetic nutrients, man. But again, I didn't know any better, dude. So like, you're just doing crazy stuff. You're trying to like figure it out as you go, and as you go, and as you go, and that's just how shit works, man. So I literally learned on the spot. Like, so anyway, I mixed this whole compost tea up, and it was not even like a compost tea brew. It was more like a synthetic tea brew. So I mixed this entire synthetic tea brew up, and I popped it into a bucket and had the aeration, the water stone, and everything, right? The works. Everything was going in there, man. I really should have just flushed that shit straight down the toilet and not used it. But I was like, no, everything's good, man. We're good to go. Shit's perfect, man. What are you talking about, man? Let's just go. So I literally left it to brew for a little while. I got some bubbles on there and shit. And like everything, I was like, yeah, we got the bubbles. Shit's looking good. It's bubbling, man. Let's get it to the plants. So I literally left it to brew for a little bit. And then I poured it onto the plants, right? And when I poured it onto the plants, within like 48 hours, man, I started to notice like the leaves were turning orange. I'm getting orange spots on there and shit, man. I was like, bro, what did I just do, man? What is happening, man? I knew I should not have done that, man. And like, I literally screwed myself over, and I put them on like a lot. I put them on pretty much all the plants. I fed all the plants the synthetic compost tea brew that I made, one of the worst mistakes that I made. And some of them were outside, and I brought those ones that were outside inside once I'd gotten my blurper light. So once I got my blurper light, I was like, yeah, man, I'm in a gear. Everything is good. We got the blurpers going, and we're ready to go. And I popped the plants under the blurper light, and the blurper light looked just like this. I think it was like a green go. It's supposed to be like a 1200 watt light. I don't think it was actually 1200 watt, but like, you know how some of those lights say 1200 watt replacement or whatever, replacement. And I was like, okay, well, I guess we can try that, and I have the veg switch and the bloom switch and everything, and I'm badass with that, but that just didn't work out the way I thought, man. So a lot of mistakes were made on that grow, guys. Like, straight up, a lot of mistakes were made on that grow, from the nutrient burn to the mixing, the pot choice, the everything, man. At least I picked the right medium. I had some decent potting mix. If you guys would have seen the slurricane seed to harvest, I picked some shitty, cheap-ass potting mix up, and that messed me up. But the Lambert was actually good stuff, man. But what I did notice is that with the autos, they don't like to be stressed, guys. You just got to be really nice with them, really gentle, really careful. When you stress them, you mess your yields up, and you end up looking pretty pretty much like this, right? You can have like a really nice onion balls bag sort of thing, or you can have like a small one, man, and it just affects your yields, man. So when you're growing your plants, you always want to have some like nice yields, and especially with the onions, the broccoli, tomato, cabbage, all that stuff, whatever you're growing, man. So a lot of the times, literally, guys, less is more. You just need to remember that less is more. Don't overdo it. Don't screw things up. You can just shoot yourself in the foot, and that's not what you want to be doing. Less is more. Always remember that, especially with the autoflowers. They aren't around for a super long period of time. So if you do like mess that up, then you can end up in like a lot of trouble, man. A lot of trouble. And that's what I found myself in. So my autos never really bounced back like the way I wanted them to. They just didn't. I was spent a long time crying about it. Nah, I'm just joking. I wasn't actually crying, but I was pretty disappointed, man. We spent a lot of time and effort, and you always monitor your plants and spend time with them and make sure everything is good, and you just end up like, crying in the rain. Nothing really works out the way you wanted it to, but that's just how it goes sometimes, right? So, yeah, man, at the end of the day, like, you just got to keep pushing, and keep learning. That's what'll make it better, make you better, and make everything better, man. So, yeah, that's the story of the crazy friggin' auto run that I had. It was, like, one of the worst ones that I ever had, but I learned a lot from it, man. Hands down, I learned a lot from it, and that's what I would say for anyone who's never run anything before, probably try a photo first. Maybe try a photo period, maybe try a bag seed. Don't go for like the most expensive genetics, because you may just end up messing it up, and like what I did, man. And I thought I was going to have the massive harvest. I thought I was going to pull a pound off of this shit. At harvest time, when harvest time rolled around, I barely got 7 grams. Like, perfect. Bruh, what is 7 grams? That's not perfect. That's far from perfect, bro. That's failure, man. I may as well flush that shit down. But honestly, yeah, like the buds were airy and it was scraggly, and it just did not reach its full potential at all, man. At all. So guys, if any of you guys have ever run any autos, drop it in the comments. Let me know what's your biggest yield, what's your smallest yield, because I'm interested to find out what you guys got to say. I know a lot of people run autos, and some people find out the autos are not as easy as people make them out to be sometimes, even though you could just set it and forget it. Sometimes they need love, but sometimes your love can be too much, and you just kill the plants with too much love, man. So try to avoid the too much love, for sure, 100%, man. Now guys, for the second part of the show, as usual, we go into the Patreon topic shout-outs, where we go into the Patreon topics that you guys have dropped on Patreon. We will get back into that next week. We got a lot of topics that have been building up, so we really need to get in there and start to hammer those out. We got some great ones for the past few shows, and we got some great other ones, man. So if you guys aren't on the Patreon, join up, and if you are on the Patreon, drop some of your topics that you want to see covered on the show down there, man. Just drop it. Let me see what's going on, man. I just want to take a moment to shout out everyone in the live chat right now as well. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in. We got Norma G, Cat Bar Jones, Mr. Austin Badass, Chapo Smokes, everyone, man. All the homies tuned in. Larry, everyone tuned in. Much love, guys. Thank you guys for always showing love, man. And guys, the Discord is popping, by the way. The Discord is popping. We got a lot of great stuff going on over on the Discord. If you ain't on the Discord, you're definitely missing out. And we got a lot of great stuff on there. If you guys got any questions, people always are happy to help out. And if you want to show your grows, show your rolls, anything that you guys have rolled up that looks really nice, if you did like a really cool cross joint or something like that, throw it on you to show your rolls, man. We're gonna show it on the show. Now guys, as usual, we always got the stoner joke of the day, so let's get straight on into the stoner joke of the day, man. The stoner joke of the day, and I got some great ones for you guys today, because I actually got 2, right? And 2 of them, and I think you guys will like them, man. So straight up, I know you guys always like the stoner joke of the day. So let's start off with the first one. I always like bags of weed, guys, right? So I'm going to call this one bags of weed. But a Jamaican walks into a bank, right? So, me, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm a Caribbean boy. I say I'm a Caribbean boy and that. So I'm going to try to throw on the action for this joke, right? A Jamaican walks into a bank with 25 kilograms, right? He's got a big bag, right? So he walks in and say, everything I got a big bag of weed there. What you want to do with that big bag of weed there, my brother? And he just hands it over to the cashier, and the cashier is like, yo, completely shocked, like, what the fuck you doing with this big ass bag of weed? Like, what's all this for? And the big rest Jamaican is like, yeah, me just come inside of here, me looking to put on some of my plants and thing, and surely was the real seed and thing. But I really want to open a joint account too, if you understand. A joint account. And the man was like, oh, you in here for what? He's like, I want to open a joint account. And he's like, oh, and he just drops his joint on his desk. He's like, that's your payment for the joint account. Oh man, you know my jokes are always not good. Nah, that one was actually pretty good, man. I enjoyed that one because you always got to open up that joint account, man. And I love joints. Shout out to all the Caribbean homies as well, man. Everyone tuned in. Guys, drop it in the comments and let me know where you're tuned in from right now. I'm always interested to find out where people are tuned in. Sunday morning show, we got a lot of people always tuning in, and it's always a different time sometimes. Like sometimes it may be like the next day in Australia and stuff like that. Shout out to everyone from Australia tuned in right now, man. I got much love to my homie Adam, Gary, Davey T, Metric Madness, Harrison Pex. All you guys, love you guys, man. Now let's get into the second joke, man, because the second joke is actually a fucking funny ass one as well, man. And I'm gonna call this one Down the Hill, right? So down the hill, right? Let's take a toke of this J, because we're about to go down the hill. So a stoner and a drunk, right? You know the story starts off bad already when you say a stoner and a drunk. So we got a stoner and we got a drunk guy, right? And one always smokes and one always drinks. So the drunk guy said, yo, fuck this shit. I'm tired of walking down this hill. Like, I just want to get to the bottom of it so I can drink some more, man. And you know what? I'm going to just fuck this shit. I'm just going to roll down the bottom of the hill. I'm pretending I'm a bottle, and I'm going to just roll down the bottom of the hill so I can get a bottle when I reach down to the bottom of the hill. So he did it. The stoner was like, damn, he just did that shit, bro. He actually just did that shit. He just rolled down the hill like a bottle. So the stoner just thought about it for a little while. And then he rolled down the hill too. And when he got to the bottom, the drunk was in pieces, man, on the floor, like broken up and everything. Like, because remember, he rolled down the hill like a bottle, he's a drunk. So he rolled down the hill like a bottle and he got smashed up and everything, And the stoner walked over to him and was like, like, how did you make it down here without getting hurt, man? And the stoner was like, well, I just pretended that I was a joint. Because all you got to do is literally roll up a joint and you stay lifted, man. But when you drink, you get fucking smashed, bro. What do you even mean, man? Personally, I'm not a fan of, getting too crunk and shit like that, man. Like, what the fuck am I? Like 16, 17 years old, man, even though you're not supposed to legally drink until like 21 in the U.S., but I'm not gonna get into that right now. So, man, but let me know what you guys think about some of those stuff, man. If you guys like the stoner joke of the day, it's always some stale ass, dead ass jokes that I bring for you guys, but it's always just some of those dad jokes to break the humor anyway, man. I'm not a fucking stand-up comedian or anything like that. I'm just trying to bring a little bit of humor to the show and give you guys a little bit of good vibes on the Sunday mornings, man. So smash the freaking like button for that, man. And let me know what you guys think. Now, I got a question for the fam, man. When it comes to the autos, guys, because everybody's had some good runs with autos. Some people have had bad runs with autos. But when it comes to the autos, what has been your worst run? What's the least that you've ever yielded? I'm talking the smallest, the least amount. Like the smallest amount, was it like 4 grams, 3.5, 7 grams? Was it like no grams because you didn't even get to harvest? You killed it before you can get there. Like, let me know what you guys have done. That's the question for the fam today. And it's a great way to find out what you guys are saying and what you guys' experience has been with the autos, because I've had some good experiences with autos. Don't get me wrong, guys. I preface this entire video, and I've also grown some great autos, but I've also had probably one of my worst runs being an auto, man. And that's when I first started off, but I learned a lot from it, guys. So let me know what you guys think. And if you guys are on the ICANN VIP Bean Club, definitely join up, man. If you guys aren't on there, you guys will probably be crying in a short period of time. So I don't want to see you guys crying. I want you guys to be all happy. I don't want anyone crying and dropping tears when they didn't get any of those exclusive genetics and packs. We actually got some fire packs, and some of you guys would have gotten some banging autos a couple of days ago. Then when those went out, and I've seen a lot of them got delivered already, and some of you guys would have gotten some of that gooseberry as well, man. I'm actually going to pop some of that gooseberry myself, and looking forward to running that, man, because we got some new exclusives that went out to you guys. So much love to everyone. Don't cry because you didn't get it. Just join up, hit that link in the description, show some love, cop a friggin' Diesel Dog hoodie, t-shirt, and support the channel, man. And on that note, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Smash the friggin' like button, and like I said, drop it in the comments and let me know, what is your worst auto run? What was it? How many grams did you yield from it, man? Drop it in the comments and let me know. Now, most importantly, guys, hit the toke, stay high and stay fly, and I'ma see you on the next one. Peace, fam.